welcome to the Tea and a Butty podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And today's episode is none of the places we want to go.
Yeah, we have not done this.
We haven't done it for years.
Eons.
Years.
Yeah.
It feels like years anyway. No. The place we want to go today is York.
Yes.
Not New York, Old York.
And just in case we have anybody new listening, this is a series where we talk about places we usually haven't been.
I mean,
and places
in
we
the
do
UK,
want to go.
yeah. I mean, this is a series for the UK, so, you know, we're talking about cities and little villages and places in the UK that you wouldn't think of.
Yeah.
Maybe not to go. I mean, York is probably somewhere people would want to go.
Usually,
You've probably heard of York.
Usually it'll be somewhere that we've seen a picture of, or we've seen a show or a movie set in a place, and I'll be like, where is that? I want to go there.
Where is that? Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Where is it?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's somewhere that you've been when you were a kid or passed through at least.
I mean, I've been to most places in the UK.
Have you now?
Yes. Yes, I have, actually. I've been to most places in the UK. And I've passed through some of the places, too. And, well, I mean, I lived in England, Scotland, and Wales growing up, so...
But never been to Ireland.
I never would... it's 49 quid on a plane.
How dare you? That's why we don't have any Irish listeners.
No, I mean...
You?
I was... I had the opportunity to go several times and I never did. I don't know why.
It was just across the water.
It was just across... I could have swum it, couldn't I? Could have swam.
Swum. Could have swum it.
Swum it. That's a wrong word, is it? Is it no swum? Swam? You swum.
Swim.
Swim, swam, swum.
I'm terrible at that. Drink, stunk.
Yes. You love it. But anyway, York. What do you know about York, everybody?
Well, you first tell us where the heck York is.
York is in the historic county of Yorkshire.
Oh, that really is helpful to
It's in the north of
Americans
England, northeast.
like myself who have no idea where Yorkshire is.
It's in the northeast of England. Well, north. We're going to
By
say that
Scotland-ish.
no. It's a little bit down from Scotland. I mean, they call Yorkshire the north, but it's really just past the Midlands. It's like the start of the north, really. Yorkshire.
It's the east.
It's the east. And
Right?
it's the north. It's east, yeah.
Yeah, it's
York.
northeast.
And Yorkshire is like, it's got several, it's been divided up into like three things. You've got like the East Riding of Yorkshire. You've got York. You've got South Yorkshire.
Yeah.
You've got West Yorkshire.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you've got, what's the other one? Yorkshire, I guess?
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire. No, it's not. It's just Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
Or is
Sound
it
like
or is it the
New
Yorkshire
York.
Dales? I don't know. Yeah,
Oh, you're just making stuff up.
Yorkshire Dales. I don't know. I might have to do a little bit of research on Yorkshire.
But Yorkshire, the whole county, right, is where the you-know-nothing Jon Snow accent comes from, right?
It's very northern.
Yeah.
Very northern it is, you see. Because we're up there, and, right, Thanos, all that kind of stuff. Bayek.
Yeah.
Bloomin' Eck. Chuffin.
So if you are
Chuffin Eck.
if you're a fan of the Stark family from Game of Thrones,
The Stark. Oh, yeah, Sean Bean's from Yorkshire.
the way
Yeah.
they speak is the way they speak in Yorkshire.
From
Yeah.
Sheffield, actually, so he's in South Yorkshire. He's a South Yorkshireman.
Yeah. So it's a pretty good accent. I like it.
It's very northern. But, yeah, but it's the historic head of the settlement.
York.
Yeah, York is, yeah, because, I mean, York, it comes from York, so it's Yorkshire.
Mm-hmm.
The Shire of York.
Yeah.
How lovely. After the Norman conquest of England, the people of York rebelled in 1068. And they initially succeeded. But they put down the arrival of William the Conqueror, they put down the rebellion. And, Yorkshire's really been like one of those places that's, they were there in the War of the Roses. It was Lancaster versus the Yorks.
War of the Roses just makes me think, isn't that a film with Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas.
Is it?
War of
I don't know.
Roses.
I mean,
God.
it's probably one of the it's got a rich history.
Yeah. Oh,
when you come
God,
to, I mean, all of England does, but
just Google York, you guys.
York, and it's just this great town. It's walled.
Mm-hmm.
It takes you 2 hours to do it if you're non-stop. If you don't stop for a cup of tea,
It's like the oldest walled
a cup of
city.
Yorkshire tea.
It's the oldest walled city in all of England, isn't it? Do you have that in your notes somewhere?
Yeah. I mean, it's it's since Roman times.
Yeah.
York has been defended by those walls, one form or another.
So my question is, because
to this day, substantial portions of the walls remain, and York has more miles of intact wall than any other city in England.
Yeah.
So that's their claim to fame right there.
That's like a big attraction too, to walk the walls.
Yeah,
because
you
it
can
goes
walk
all
the
way
walls.
around.
Yeah.
And I think I've read that it takes about 2 hours if you just want to do like a walk around the city.
Yeah, they're generally 13 feet high.
Oh yeah.
And 6 feet wide, so you can walk them.
And I think there's portions that don't exist, so then you just go downstairs.
You just go downstairs and walk on the pavement, and then you go up again. You know.
yeah.
So they're in the city, doing your little walk around the thing. But I mean, it's that's a thing they do in York. It's like that's another one of the tourist attractions. It's like you can walk the city walls, and they'll tell you. And looking out here's where so and so and.
Yeah, I was so disappointed a couple of years ago because York is probably one of the main cities now in the UK that I want to visit. And so my mom and her boyfriend were taking a trip to Liverpool a couple of years ago.
Liverpool, also in the north.
And they wanted Dominic and I to put them an itinerary together of things around that area-ish to go see. Well, everything in the UK, for us Texans particularly, is fairly close by. So York is not right next to Liverpool, but it was only
it's only like an hour on the train.
Just under 2 hours.
Just under 2 hours,
which is no big deal, Dallas to Austin driving is 3 hours.
3, yeah.
And people do that all the time.
Yeah. You don't have to jostle with I-35.
Yeah. So York is one of the places we put on their itinerary. Unfortunately, my mom got sick. They did go, but she was sick, and so they just did not enjoy anything. And they
terrible food in Liverpool.
And they left early, but I was so disappointed because I wanted
because they only had a day there.
Yeah, it was just a day trip because 2-hour train ride up in the morning and then come home at night after it's gotten dark. And,
we need to do that again once all this shenanigans is over.
I was dying to see her pictures and
pandemic shenanigans.
Hear her stories about everything she got to see in York and everything. And unfortunately, she didn't really get to see much.
She didn't get to see much because she was out for the count.
But the walls are one of the really, really cool things about York when we were doing the research to organize their little day trip over there, because like you just said, they've been there since Roman times.
Yeah, I mean it's not very little of it is actually Roman.
Still.
Stone. It's been rebuilt several over times.
Yeah, I mean, I can't.
They're punctuated by 4 main gatehouses or bars, as they call them.
Oh yeah.
The Botham Bar, the Monk Bar, the Walmgate Bar, and the Micklegate Bar.
Mm.
And these restricted traffic in medieval times, and were used to exact tolls. So it was it was very medieval. It's you've got to halt. Who goes there?
Yeah. So when we say walls, for anyone who's not understanding what we're talking about, it's basically like the old-fashioned castle walls, right?
Yeah, and I mean, but they encircled the city of York.
That's what it was, wasn't it?
Back then.
Because what they would do was, while they were building the castle, a little settlement would establish of all the families of the people who were actually brick by brick, stone by stone, putting the castle together. They would have their wives and their kids there, and this took years. So they had to eat. They had to, have other certain things done. And so the town would develop. They built the wall then around that whole town because the town
needed to be defended from,
the
other pesky English people that were coming up.
So the lords or the kings or whoever would live in the castle, and then those would be their townspeople that they were protecting with the walls. That was their domain, you know. So it's just so freaking cool that a city still exists with the walls almost completely intact. I mean, there's areas, there's big chunks that are missing, but
yeah. But the gatehouses are still there. I mean, they've had the barbicans and stuff removed and stuff, you know.
What do you mean?
Like the gates.
Oh, yeah. My main question is, because it is a city in England, though, surely it's grown outside of the walls at this point.
Yes, it has. I mean, there's a green belt around York, actually.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, they've tried to, like, you know, because, you know, deforestation and everything is sadly a thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're trying to create like a green belt and everything out there, you know, they're trying to make it look as it was back in, like, you know, the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
You know, like when you look out from York, you see the rolling green fields, and you might see Richard III coming over that hill at any moment now, you know.
So what then? So the walls probably just go around, like, town center?
The town center, yeah.
What would be town center today?
Yeah, town center today, and then the
and
rest
then most of the houses.
Because if you live, the houses and stuff are outside the walls, yeah.
Tesco's outside of the walls.
Well, yes, I mean, unless it's a Tesco Metro, you know.
Primark, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, at the Monk Bar, there's the Richard III experience. That's one of the cool things to see there, which describes, like, his early life and the Battle of Bosworth, and, you know, the War of the Roses between Lancaster and York.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was really kind of like the first English Civil War, really, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Lancaster, the War of those houses, you know.
Is York one of the places that they go to in The Last Kingdom? Do you remember?
I think they do go there.
It seems like
they did. Yeah, in one of the seasons.
You know, because they put the
yeah.
And
it's always
the old
been
names.
It's always this is pre Norman conquest times.
Yeah. Anglicization.
Anglo-Saxon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think yes, because I mean it's always been like a very, like, you know, the Vikings got it. You know. Yeah. It was a strategic.
It's so cool.
I mean, everybody's been there. Everybody's lived there.
Us.
And, you know, it's
so cool.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to go there at some
They have the Richard III Museum there, and they have the Henry VII experience at Micklegate Bar, you know, because, I mean, these were, like, kings that came there, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, you'll have people going, oh, yes, and this building...
Is Richard III Richard the Lionheart?
He was, yes. Yeah.
So he's, yeah. Is he the reason for the lion being the symbol of
Yes. The War of the Roses was like, yeah, there was, they had several, like, banners and stuff back then. That's why there's the English rose...
Oh, yeah.
Thing, and the 3 lions and all this kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the lions actually predate Richard. I think it goes back to Roman times, you know, and all that.
Or 4 lions, depending on where you buy your merch.
4 lions, yes.
Anybody who's seen
this country will know what we're talking about there.
But yeah, so aside from the walls, there's obviously a lot of other historical things you can see. So if you're into history, like us, like me and Dominic,
yes,
you're gonna love York. And I can say that, I think, even without having ever been there myself.
Well, if you like chocolate,
okay, yeah,
if you're partial to a Terry's chocolate orange,
yeah,
then yeah, you'll like York, because York is where Terry's was started, you know, and the Roundtree factory. And I mean, it was very, like, you know, when the railways started up, the confectionery business started up,
yeah.
You know? And so the railways brought, you know, everything, you know.
And they've got, yeah.
You know, they created the Kit Kat bar.
Did they?
Yeah.
What?
Aero, Smarties, Fruit Pastels, Rolo, Yorkie, and Lion bars. They created. I mean, Nestle took it over, obviously.
Oh, I didn't.
And they marketed it.
Yeah,
because there's a few people. I think someone said, well, Kit Kat's originally British, or it's like, and they're like, well, I've had this since I was a kid, over here in America. It's just like,
yeah.
it's like chocolate wasn't invented, yesterday. It's like these chocolate bars weren't invented. Starburst is apparently British, too.
Yeah,
You couldn't believe that, could you?
no.
You and David Schwimmer couldn't believe that.
I still can't believe that.
I think Mars. Well, Mars is a British company too, I think. But they were I think they were headquartered in Slough, which is down south. But Terry's, obviously, they had the Terry's Gold Box, which is like a collection of chocolates, but the most famous one is the chocolate orange.
Yeah.
Everyone loves that. And I think because I think Terry's was bought by people who own Cadbury now.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like an international conglomerate now.
Yeah.
Kraft own it now. But yeah, by 1900, the railways and confectionery had become the city's two major industries because railway was kind of like that was a hub.
Yeah.
Of the Industrial Revolution.
You can just imagine, because I don't know if it's the next part we're going to talk about, but there's a cute little downtown shopping area in York that we'll talk about in a second. But you can just imagine in there all the little chocolate shops. You know what I mean? Back from Charles Dickens' times, the kids just looking into the window, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Apple-cheeked urchins, I'll have you know.
Yes.
With dirt smudged on their noses, chocolate they couldn't afford, and it was only a penny.
Oh, no.
But they were poor. And they were like, please, sir, can I have another chocolate orange?
And their little flat hats. Their little flat
little
caps.
Flat hats. And they don't have any shoes on.
Yes.
Because they are Oliver Twist.
And their pants are torn at the bottom, like
Oliver Twist.
Like the Lost Boys and Peter
yeah,
Pan.
I mean that's pretty much what they were, wasn't it? The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
They came from
little urchins.
Little urchins, yeah.
Yeah.
Street urchins,
Yeah.
Running about with their shoes of the Artful Dodger and, his gang.
Yeah. It's so funny for chocolate to be the big thing from York, because it really does look like what you guys in Britain call the chocolate box village, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's probably where it came from, I guess.
It's not a chocolate box village. And I mean, when we say chocolate box, it really comes from you used to get a chocolate box with a postcard attached to it. And even up until I was a kid, I'd get fudge or I'd get chocolate in, you'd buy them from these things and they'd have a postcard of the seaside town.
Yeah.
Which is usually what you'd call a chocolate box village.
I didn't know that. I always thought when you were talking about a chocolate box village, I thought you were talking about
that it was a village made of chocolate.
No, have you seen the tins over here at Christmas time?
Oh yeah, and that's
the lid is a tin, but it's looks like a cute little village.
And that too, yeah.
And there will be a horse and horse-drawn.
It's all old-fashioned. It's all quaint. It's all twee.
Yeah.
It's like. And tourists visit there and they go, oh, isn't this marvelous?
Although that's more
isn't this lovely?
That's more like the Cotswolds or something, isn't it? Because
the
York
Cotswolds.
is very medieval and even older than the chocolate box.
Well, it's got the York
really.
Minster, and that sounds like a chocolate bar anyway, doesn't it? The York Minster.
About that, because that looks absolutely amazing. I'm a huge old church and cathedral person. That's one of the main things I like to look at when I go traveling.
It was completed in 1472 after centuries of building.
1472.
And of course, obviously they've rebuilt it and they've renovated it over time.
Well,
and stuff.
yeah.
I think it had a fire in 1984.
I think my mom said when they went, it was
2007 to 2018.
Up.
It was being renovated.
Yeah.
It was being it was all renovated and everything like that. It's huge. You look at it and it's freaking huge.
Yeah.
And it's the seat of the Archbishop of York, which is the second highest. He's the second highest archbishop in the Church of England.
Yeah. It's bigger than Westminster Abbey, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It's the largest of its kind in Northern Europe.
Oh, wow.
Well, one of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I think there's some in Germany and France too that are huge, bigger.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the third highest office of the Church of England. After the monarch as Supreme Governor. Yeah, that's what they call her. The Supreme Governor of the Church.
Oh.
Instead of the Pope.
Oh, yeah.
And the Archbishop of Canterbury. So yeah, the Archbishop of York is directly behind the Archbishop of Canterbury.
okay.
So
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
if you need someone to perform a fake wedding, go to the Archbishop of York.
A fake backyard wedding.
That's what we should have done. We should have told everyone
God.
about it. It's like we actually got married before everyone by the Archbishop of York. So there you go.
We just called him up and he came to our backyard.
Yeah. I mean, I actually don't know if it's a her or a he who is the Archbishop of York. Right now, yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, there's that. There's the cathedral, the York Minster, and you go in and it's just it's just full of history right there.
Oh God, yeah.
Stained glass windows that would that put these windows to shame.
Well, that's not very difficult.
And they light things up and everything. Well, the whole place, it just looks all medieval.
Yeah.
It looks like somewhere where Henry VIII would have walked in and just gone like that. Bring me my leg.
Bring me my leg.
Bring me my leg of meat.
Oh my God, yeah. It's got some kind of what underneath, like a burial thing,
yeah.
What is it called?
Oh,
the portion underneath the actual cathedral where I think does it entomb a bunch of people, or is it like some kind of secret dungeon? Because that's what it sounds more like to me.
You mean like the vaults?
I don't know.
The crypts.
The crypts, maybe. Yeah, the crypts. Maybe it's the crypts. That sounds more right, but I don't think that's exactly the word I was.
Well, it's got a crypt and it's got a chapel.
Yeah, I thought it was more like.
And it was damaged during William the Conqueror's harrying of the north. Because it was a number of campaigns waged by William the Conqueror to get England in line, because they were rebelling all over the place up in the north, That is probably why there's a north and south divide.
Why?
Because of all that back then. It's like, it's just filtered down through the thing. It's like, we're from the north. We're king in the north and all that,
Yeah.
And the south, we don't talk about the south because we hate the south.
Yeah.
Bloody southerners, a lot of them.
Yeah.
So, it's just like that divide that's been right there. We're rebelling against everything Westminster does because they don't know.
Yeah.
And I mean, one day it might happen. England might be split in two.
Yeah.
And Birmingham won't know what to do. It'll be like half on the north side and, half on the south,
Depending on who you ask.
Depending on who you ask, yes. But I mean, yeah, it had like the crypt.
Yeah, it wasn't the crypts I was thinking of. I don't know what it was. We can move on though.
Can move on to.
It sounds it's something.
On our tour of York, on our virtual tour of
Yes.
York,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to move on to the Shambles.
Yay!
Your favorite bit.
This is the little downtown part that I was referring to earlier. That just looks so picturesque and like I don't know. It's kind of like what you, being American, what you hope that England looks like before you go there. You know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so tell us what the Shambles specifically.
It's an old street in
Yeah.
York.
Is it? And the street is called Shambles, or
It's called the Shambles. Yeah, and I mean, there's several in England though. There's several type of streets like this.
yeah.
There's some in Swansea, Exeter,
I don't remember seeing anything so cute in Swansea.
Well, we didn't go there, you see.
I have been to Swansea.
Yeah, no, I mean, not, but we didn't go to the Shambles in Swansea.
Like, I have been there.
I don't know. Maybe we did, and I just didn't, point it out or something. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, it's an old street in York, and it's like that. They call it the Shambles because it's got overhanging
street. I thought it was like
timber-framed buildings,
Yeah.
that make it look all like, they just jut out like eddied, they're eddied buildings, and they all look like haphazard as you look down the street.
Yeah.
It doesn't look all uniform,
Right.
So it's all like jutting
Wonky.
out. Wonky.
Yeah.
Wonky.
Looks wonky.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, yeah,
The timber framed meaning like what's what's the Tudor style?
Tudor style, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when it would have been like, because it was for the 14th century.
But are they all original or?
No, some of them date from the 14th century.
Okay.
They're original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure if some of them have just been like redone to look.
No. I mean,
fit
obviously they kind of like they date from the 14th century. Some of the buildings do.
Yeah.
You know? But of course, its big claim to fame.
Yeah.
Is that it was the inspiration for Diagon Alley in Harry Potter.
Yes, and if you've heard us, I think it was like back episode 151 or something like that, where we talked about all the Harry Potter locations debunked by J.K. Rowling herself.
This was one of them. This was a major one, and it's probably upset a lot of them in the shambles, because there's I think there's about 4 or 5 shops that are,
dependent
on that. Yeah, they're all Harry Potter themed shops.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think there's others though on the street who hate all the Harry Potter tourists.
Oh,
because it gets really, really super crowded because of that Harry Potter myth, doesn't it?
And it's a small little street.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of winds a bit, so everybody gets blocked in.
It's not even, like, wide enough for cars, is it?
No,
Isn't it just
I think it's just wide enough for cars, but I think it's pedestrianized.
Yeah. I
mean, it has to be.
Yeah.
With all the Harry Potter tourism.
When you guys look at it, I mean, it looks like Diagon Alley, so you can definitely see where people are coming from when they make the comparison. But yeah, she did debunk that. Even though there's like what did you say, 4 or 5
there's
Harry
4
Potter
or 5
shops on the street?
There's 4 or 5 of them. I know one of them is run by someone I actually know online.
Yeah.
Or they manage it or whatever, because they're a big Harry Potter fan, so they went like, oh, this is a good business for me, I can sell merch and I'm a fan, and whatever, in the shambles, because that's where it is. And I think when J.K. Rowling debunked it, I think I went to her, it's like, yeah, and she put up, it's like, oh, well, thanks a lot, J.K. Thanks a lot, Rowling.
Yeah.
Because she's never been there, apparently. So she's like, oh,
Yeah.
There's one in Edinburgh, too, that claims to be.
Yeah.
So the shambles in Edinburgh.
Yeah, but I think the shambles in York look almost identical. So she must have seen a picture
They look
of it, at least.
Well, maybe. Or the people who were, like, working on the production of Harry Potter, were just like, oh, well, the shambles in York, we'll just take a sketch of that and make it up in the studio.
Yeah.
And
I envision that this is what it kind of
This is what it looks like. It looks like old London,
Yeah. It's just, it's too cute.
It's too cute. There's like old-timey shops on there.
Yeah, but apparently everything is like really expensive in all those shops.
Of course it is. They're pretty much tourist traps.
Yeah.
And they're counting on Harry Potter's going, I've got to get myself one of these English buns.
Yeah.
And it's like, how much did that cost? £12.50. It's like, yeah, that was a small bun for that,
But yeah, there's so much more.
There's so much more. I mean, the city was bombed during the Second World War, so, there's that.
Why, though? They're not a port, are they?
No, it was the Baedeker Blitz.
What is that?
The German campaign to bomb all the major English cities.
Oh.
And, of course, York was one of them.
Yeah.
They're not a port. They sit on the River Ouse and the River...
Probably maybe the railway.
Foss.
Probably the railway connection was
the secret of the Ouse.
A big thing, if they could put out the trains,
yeah. Yeah, and they probably followed the railway up there, because that's what they did. Like, this is an aside, the whole blackout during the war and everything.
Yeah.
Put that light out. German pilots apparently said, no, we weren't. We were using the railway lines.
Yeah,
as a guide.
And the rivers.
And the rivers, we weren't looking for lights to bomb, you know? It's like we just followed the river and, oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, God. But yeah, there's so much more, you guys. If you get a chance to go to York, I would definitely recommend it.
You love York.
You know how everyone in England loves going, oh, don't go to London. Oh, there's so much more to England. England's not just London. And definitely York is what
Yes.
they're talking about when they say that, because it just looks so
You get off the train,
cool.
you're just so... Oh, it's just so cute.
And I can
here.
remember a bunch of other things, too, from my research. I think there's, like, a Viking museum, all kinds of stuff there. So, yeah, be sure to check out York when you're next in England.
Yes. Yes. I mean, York is definitely one of these northern cities to go see.
Yeah.
And I mean, people want to go see York for like, because it's in Yorkshire and the Yorkshire puddings and all that, and cream teas and all that, but I'd rather go to Devon for cream teas. Just big up to the Devon Massive there. Brap!
And oh my god. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, we appreciate your support. Be sure to check us out on social media. We are at TButty, TEABUTTY on
Facebook,
Instagram,
and Twitter.
And we'll talk to you guys next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.